Hey everybody, this is Roy with Roy's Life Hacks and Builds. Today I'm going to be showing you how I take a pod light from a vehicle, which is 12 volts DC, and use it as a work light. You can use it like to work on your vehicles or whatever you want. But I'm going to show you how I can make it so that I can use it by plugging it into an outlet, AC current. I'll be using this old computer charger. You gotta make sure though that your input, which is this, it's 100 to 120 volts, and your output is 12 volts DC. That is the only reason I am able to do this, and I will run a toggle switch to turn it on and off. And in the future, I'm going to build a little stand. That way I could just stand it anywhere, plug it in the wall, flip the switch, and you got a light that works. So let's get started. So for this process, we have to make sure that this actually puts out 12 volts. It says on here it does, but we need to double check and make sure. So we're gonna plug it in. And be mindful, guys, you are working with electricity, so. And we're gonna use a multimeter. Turn that over to 12 volts. I don't know if you guys can see. No, you can't. And right now it's at 0. I'm gonna check the end of this charger where it plugs in. And yeah, we have 12.8, 12.5 volts, and that's perfect. That's what these lights usually take to run. So with this charger unplugged already, we already figured out how many volts it's putting out through here, which is the 12 volts. With that unplugged, I'm going to go ahead and cut the end off because I won't need that anymore. I'm going to hardwire it into my light. I'm going to cut the end off and then cut right down the middle because there's 2 wires. Spread that apart. And on these wires, you have little lines. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there'd be little lines right here, and the other one is a solid. And what the little lines is usually the positive, but we'll double check and make sure with the multimeter before we hook anything up. So with these wires peeled back already, spread apart, I'm going to peel the plastic off with some wire strippers. Do that to both of them. Be mindful, it's not connected, so we're going to check which one's positive and which one's negative. That way we could hook it up correctly. And we're gonna do that with the multimeter. So now with them wires peeled back, I'm gonna switch the multimeter over to 12 volts again. And we're gonna check each one of these wires. Yeah, the wire with the little lines that go through it is a positive. And there's exactly 12.14 volts that go through it, which is perfect for that little pod light, because that's what a pod light runs off of the car's power source is 12 volts. So now that we know which one is positive and which one is negative, we can proceed. We're gonna disconnect it, and we're gonna start putting our pod light together with the butt connectors and this heat shrink tubing. That way there's no arcing out on anything. And I'm not sure, but we are going to put a toggle switch on it. So with it needing a toggle switch, we need little butt connectors, the little eyelets like that. We need 2 of them. I prefer the eyelets. We can use these little ones too, but the eyelets they don't come off at all, so. And here's the other one. Let me see which one actually fits better. So yeah, the red one would be our best bet. And here's the second one. No, it's too big. There we go. So we got 2 red connectors. And then we're gonna need 2 blue connectors, butt connectors, to splice them together. Okay, so I already got ahead of you guys a little bit, but I already connected the 2 negatives together. I spliced them together with this blue butt connector. This is also heat shrink, so I heat shrinked it, and then I put the shrink tubes over it and shrink that over that. And then I already put one of the little eyelets for the toggle switch onto the pod light side. Now I'm going to put the other eyelet onto the other side of the wire that comes from the charger. And we just make sure the wire's the right length. Put it over and then crimp it on there. There you go, we have it crimped on there, like so. And now we can put them on the toggle switch. It's a little bit older toggle switch, but it works. So you see, this is what I want them for. Put them there, or like there. Put it over there and put the screw through it. Do that for you guys. Put the screw through it, but before, I just remembered, let's put the heat shrink tube over the eyelet. We're just gonna feed it through like so. Just let it hang down there. And now we can put it on the toggle switch. So we'll put it on there like so. With the little screw that it comes with. Oh. And get that on there tightened up. Like that. You see what I mean? It's never coming off because it's not the little fork style one. All we have to do is just hold it straight up and down, or in our case, since that's gonna be, yeah, we can do the same. Yeah, just hold it straight up and down. Tighten up that screw. Pretty good. And there you go. It's not moving nowhere. Then that heat shrink that we put on it, we'll slide it over everything, like so. And then we heat shrink that. Or we'll heat shrink it with the torch. I like how it just takes form of the wire and everything, and it waterproofs it. There you go. And we'll put the heat shrink tube over the other one. This wire's a little shorter. Put it over the toggle switch. This heat shrink's a little small for this, for what I'd like it for, so I'm gonna get a bigger piece of heat shrink tube. So I wanted to cover everything, the screw and all, that way you can't make no contact with it. And we'll cut it to size, like so. Slide it over everything. And we can put it back on there. Hold that straight. And just tighten it up. Now we can, you see how I got a bigger heat shrink? Now it fits completely over everything. I'm gonna do that to the other one as well. Hold it up while you heat shrink the top. Once it shrinks over everything, and you're good to shrink the rest of it. And there you go. That. And once we test everything, then I'll put the rest of the heat shrink tubing over the rest of the wires, so it could look a little bit nicer. And then later on, I'm gonna build a stand for this. That way you can just set it anywhere, plug it in, flip the switch, and you got a work light. That way you can work on your cars or whatever it is you wanna do. And it's real bright. So let me get this plugged in and we'll test it out right now. Okay, so I went ahead and replaced the heat shrink on the other side so that it covers the screw as well. That way you don't get no contact with anything at all. And even later we can put tape over this, electrical tape of course, over this, or mount this on something. Maybe I'll even mount this on the little stand. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'll mount it on the stand that I'm gonna make for the pod light. That way this switch is always right there and we just flip it, turn it on and off. And this will always be protected too, because I'm not just gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna cover it up with tape, electrical tape and all. But yeah, once we're all done connecting our wires to the pod light, we can plug it in and test it out. It's plugged in. So you put it on, and then flip the switch. There you go. It's really bright actually, and I like that because we can use it anywhere that you have an outlet. Use it to work on your cars now or whatever. Once I make the stand, of course, but even then I can set this down and use it on anything. I'm actually happy with the outcome because it's pretty bright. You can see all that. It lights everything up pretty good. So yeah, we can go ahead and finish up. Turn the switch off. And we'll pull this heat shrink tube over everything. Over our main connections here. And we'll heat shrink it with the torch. I like using the torch just because it's quicker. Everybody else, well, a lot of other people like using the heat guns. That works real well too. Just all depends what you have. I bought this torch at a gas station for like $3, and I've had it for, well, I still have it, and I've been using it for over 5 years. You just gotta buy the butane. But it works really well for all my wire connections and all this. Just gotta be mindful that you don't burn through everything. And if you take care of it and not throwing it around or anything, then it should last you a long time. You can even put an inline fuse on this if you want, but I think the inline fuse is a little bit of overkill. I think it'll throw a breaker before it does anything. But even then, it's only 12 volts that it's putting out, so you shouldn't worry. You see that? Just heat shrink it. And there you go. Everything's heat shrinked, covered, no exposed wires. The switch works as it should. Turns the light on and off, and it is running off of this charger. I believe it's off of a laptop, an old laptop or something. But you guys gotta be mindful that it is input wise, it inputs 100 to 120 volts, and the output is what you need. The output is 12 volts or 3.0 amps. But that's it, guys. Now we got a good working work light that I can use on everything or anything I want once I get it on the stand, and we'll go from there. On the next video, I'll show you guys how I build the stand for this, and with it working and all. I'll probably even show you guys a video with me using it on something like my car or anything. But yeah, I'm very happy with the outcome. It's very bright. Thank you guys for watching, and like I said, this is not a how-to video. It's just a little project of mine that I wanted to do. I had the things laying around, and now I have a little work light. But thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you guys have any comments, just leave them down below. Thank you very much. This is Roy with Roy's Life Hacks and Builds. Thank you.